Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. Now today I'll be talking about the Homestead-Miami weekend for Cup, Xfinity, and the Truck Series. But before we get into the results, let's first talk about Martinsville, which is only for the Cup and the Xfinity Series. Just ignores just the Truck Series, really. It does not really matter. Anyways, so on Friday, October 27th, will be practice and qualifying for the Xfinity Series. 5 p.m. for practice, 5:35 p.m. for qualifying. Both that will be on USA and streaming on NBC Sports. Saturday, October 28th, 12:30 p.m. will be practice and 1:20 p.m. will be qualifying for the Cup Series. Both of them will be on USA, streaming on NBC Sports, MRN, and SiriusXM. At 3:30 p.m. will be the Xfinity Series race for the running of the Dead on Tools 250. That'll be on USA, streaming on NBC Sports, MRN, and SiriusXM. And then on Sunday, October 29th, will be the Cup Series race for the running of the Xfinity 500 at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. That'll be on NBC, streaming on NBC Sports, MRN, and SiriusXM. So let's now have a look now at the Truck Series results. And the winner of the Truck Series race at Homestead is Carson Hocevar. And then we have Ben Rhodes, Corey Heim, Granite Finger, Bailey Curry, Stuart Friesen, Matt Crafton, Roger Carew, Ty Majeski, and Chase Purdy round out top 10. Then Tanner Gray, Jack Wood, Haley Grew, Trevor Bain, and Jay Garcia round out the top 15. One thing I want to mention is the disqualification of Zane Smith. Now, this is because of his windshield basically flexing, so it's kind of like in 2017, I'm guessing, maybe 2018, when Kevin Harvick's back windshield was flexing a lot. I'm pretty sure like in Las Vegas, which was also Del Flexgate. So Zane Smith got disqualified for that. Oh man, there was a couple of wrecks, and like Mason Manager pretty sure spun out, Haley Deegan and Colby Howard pretty sure wrecked with each other. But other than that, which is a very interesting race, and the top 4 has also been confirmed as well for Phoenix for the Truck Series. And I'm not really too sure. Obviously, it's the top 4. If it's a bit of a spoiler, the top 4 are basically the championship for Hocevar, Rhodes, Hyman, and Finger. I think Eckes, I'll be honest, I think Eckes deserves him more considering of how well he's been performing, but at the same time, he is very, very inconsistent. He actually finished in 20th place, so not that great for Christian Eckes, and I actually had a lot of high hope for him considering that he's been phenomenal throughout this whole season. Luckily, he's going to be back with McAnally, Hilgman Racing next year, so at least that's a good sign. Corin Heim will also be back with Tricon Garage next year as well. And I think that might be all. This is over, and obviously we know that GMS is shutting down, so could we maybe see Grant Thing maybe closing GMS out with a bang? Not really too sure. Other things that will maybe Chase Purdy, and Jack Wood, could they? I don't know. Jack Wood is actually racing in Phoenix, but could Chase Purdy maybe put up a good result? Maybe for KBM's last race, as they're going to be turned to Spy Motorsports next year. Is Jake Garcia going to have a good run in his final race for McNally Hegelman Racing? Where could he maybe go? Apparently, it might be already signed. He just has not been announced yet, but not really too sure. But other than that, it was very it was uneventful, but at least there was not a lot of accidents. At least that was at least a good sign. Let's have a look at the finishes outside of the top 15. Like I mentioned before, Christian Eckes down 20th. The highest one was actually Nick Sanchez, the rookie. Obviously, he won Rookie of the Year. Who saw that coming? He finished down in 17th place. Luckily, he and Crafton didn't have to meet each other, so at least that's a good sign. As well, actually, I should also mention that Sanchez will be coming back as well to Rev Racing, I think, next year as well. Dion Dye, he's going to be going to McNally Hilgman Racing. Haley Deegan, she's going to be now promoted up to the Xfinity Series as she finished down 28th after collision with Colby Howard, I'm pretty sure. And then the two Spencers, Spencer Boyd and Spencer Davies. Boyd finished in 33rd, Davies finished in 32nd, both are having electrical issues, and Zane Smith, who got disqualified, finished down in last place because of his disqualification. So let's now move over now to the Xfinity Series results. And the winner of the Xfinity Series race at Homestead is Sam Mayer, who locks himself into the championship 4. Then we have Riley Hurst, obviously our last week's winner, Jonathan Nemechek, Austin Hill, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Daniel Hemrick, Parker Kligerman, Brandon Jones, Sammy Smith, and Joe Graf Jr. round out the top 10. And Derek Krause, Parker Retzlaff, Cole Custer, Ryan Seeger, Justin Allgaier round out the top 15. three drivers failed to qualify. That'd be Matt Mills in the 53 Emily Gates Motorsports car, JG Ailey in the number 4 JD Motorsports car, and Natalie Decker in the number 07, I'm pretty sure. Might be wrong. The SS Greenlight Racing Forward. Two things I want to mention. First of all, let's talk about one playoff driver, Chandler Smith. He crashed out with Brett Moffitt on the backstretch. Pretty sure there was contact between two cars, and Chandler Smith also got the worst of it. Obviously, he spun out. Pretty sure he collided with Moffitt, which caused him to spin out. Unlucky there for Chandler Smith. Obviously, it is rumored that he might be going to Joe Gibbs Racing next year after obviously leaving Colleague Racing, even though he said that that is actually a good thing for his family, because the team is family. Not really too sure why he's going back on his words, but whatever. Still a great opportunity for him to come back to go to Joe Gibbs Racing, considering how well they've been performing. Colleague, they kind of dipped, I'll be honest, this season. But unlucky there, obviously, for Chandler Smith. I think he was running mid-pack. He was probably a mid-pack car either way, so it didn't really matter much. But he's now in a pretty deep playoff hole. Another driver who's in a pretty deep playoff hole was Sheldon Creed, who will be leaving RCR at the end of the season, and going possibly as well, rumored to be going to Joe Gibbs Racing as well, along with Chandler Smith. So kind of ironic that these two drivers who will be leaving their respective teams, rumored to be going to Joe Gibbs Racing, crashed out. However, Sheldon Creed was a bit of a surprise, as he actually crashed out on the final lap. Don't know who actually turned him. Can't really tell you, I'll be honest. It was a bit of a blur. All I know is that it was a blue car. That's all I know. So I'm not really too sure who spun him out. Maybe Austin Hill. Not really too sure. I don't know where he was during the time, but it was very bizarre. Creed was maybe like a top 10 car in my opinion, or even like a top 15 car. But he's also in a pretty deep playoff hole as well, as we head to the final race of the round of 8, that being Martinsville. So we'll see if either of them can pull up a clutch win in Martinsville. I mean, anything can happen. I mean, look at last year. Freaking Ty Gibbs dumped his own teammate to basically win at Martinsville because he's a moron. Luckily, he's okay now. He has improved, I'll be honest. So at least that's a good sign. But oh man, I mean, Creed and Smith, they need to have a miracle. So I expect maybe some team orders. If Austin Hill is maybe leading, and he has a pretty comfortable points cushion, could he maybe give the spot maybe to Sheldon Creed so he can lock himself into the playoffs? Not really too sure. I should say Final Four, not the playoffs. And obviously the other way, could Hemrick and Herbert's driver the 11 car Martinsville, could they help Chandler Smith to win at Martinsville? I don't know. There's gonna be a lot of team orders, I'm guessing, in Martinsville, like it always is been. Let's now have a look now at the other fixtures outside of the top 15. And obviously, the two playoff driver, Sheldon Creed, down in 26th place after collision with a random driver, don't know who it was, on the final lap, and Chandler Smith who crashed out with Brett Moffitt because Smith had an engine issue very late into the running. Josh Berry, pretty sure he collided with his team owner, which is quite ironic. Mace Maggio, electrical issue. Obviously, I talked about Moffitt. I think Dawson Cram spun out somewhere, and McLaughlin had a carburetor issue, and Ryan Newman had a rear gear issue. Let's now have a look now at the Cup Series results. And the winner of the Homestead-Miami race is Christopher Bell, as he punches his ticket now to the Championship 4. Then we have Ryan Blaney, Tyler Reddick, William Byron, AJ Allmendinger, Bubba Wallace, Ty Gibbs, Joe Logano, Eric Almirola, and Austin Dillon round down top 10. And Kevin Harvick, Austin Cindric, Ryan Preece, Eric Jones, and Chase Elliott round down top 15. No one failed to qualify as well. So let's first talk about Kyle Larson. Obviously, our last week's winner over at Las Vegas after edging Christopher Bell to the line. Larson went bowling. I think he came in a bit too hot coming to pit road and slammed into the sand barrels at the entrance of pit lane. And luckily, he didn't hit Ryan Blaney, which at least is a good sign. I mean, yeah, he was just going in too hot, really. That's all I can really say. Just going a bit too hard. Luckily, he also got that win in Las Vegas, so at least that's a good sign. He doesn't have to worry about points and stuff. He can just put his 100% focus all in Phoenix, even though he said that today he put his 100% focus on Homestead, but whatever. At least he didn't have a skill issue on like Josh Blake, who just spun out on pit road. He basically did a Quint half, so that's fine though. Luckily, no, Blake didn't didn't hit the barrier, so at least that's a good sign. Another play driver I want to talk about is Denny Hamlin, as he actually hit the wall pretty late into the race. Probably inside of the top 15 or maybe like the top 10 at some point, not really too sure. But he did hit the wall, and he's in a not too bad of a points difference, I'll be honest. I mean, he still has a pretty decent chance of pointing his way into the playoffs in his home track at Martinsville. So, but I'm not really too sure. I mean, considering that his, let's just say his luck in Martinsville, especially, like 2021 for example, 2017 as well, could maybe see something similar to that. Not really too sure, but Hamlin, I think, can easily point his way. I think the only driver who needs to win is Chris Buescher, and we'll get into him later. But yeah, it's just I think everyone else can point their way in. That like the points difference is not that big, but either way, Buescher is in a must-win territory. But while for Hamlin, hit the wall and fell, I think, down in the order. I think actually retired. So. But either way, let's now have a look now at the other features outside of the top 15. Chris Buescher down 21st, obviously, like I mentioned before, he's now in a must-win situation. The other one is Martin Truex Jr., who had an engine failure. Not his fault, just an engine failure. Denny Hamlin, he did not retire on lap 265 or whatever the hell I said. He actually retired on 236, so that's there. Ross Chastain, John didn't even check on JJ Ellie. Pretty sure they were in a multi-car wreck. I'm pretty sure like in turn 2, I think, or in the backstretch. Kyle Larson, like I mentioned before, crashed through the sand barriers. Josh Blicky had a bit of a skill issue coming to pit road, and Harrison Burton with an overheating issue. Let's now have a look now at the Truck Series standings. So this is what the standings looks like as we head over now to Phoenix for the final race for the Truck Series. Corey Heim, Carson Hocevar, Ben Rose, and Grant Enfinger. That is your top 4 who will be competing for the championship. 3 drivers can be now a new champion in the Truck Series. Ben Rhodes can possibly make it 2 championships for his Truck Series career. And then obviously in 5th place, Christian Eckes, Nick Sanchez, Zane Smith, and Ty Majeski. Both those drivers, so all 4 of those drivers were eliminated in the round of 8. Matt Craft and Matt Benedetto, then Chase Purdy and Stuart Friesen round of the top 12. My pick, I'll be honest, Corey Heim. He's been phenomenal throughout this whole season. Obviously, yes, he doesn't have the most wins, but he has been the most consistent. I'll be honest. Even when he missed out on the one race, I think it was at Gateway, I'm pretty sure, when he fell ill, he still was the points leader. So I think, in my opinion, I think Corey Heim is going to be champion. I think you maybe even say Carson Hocevar, considering that he's been in a pretty good run. I think the least likely of these is maybe Grant Finger. He's been quietly consistent, not really winning, which is the main issue, but he's been very, very good either way. And Ben Rhodes, I have a bit of a feeling for Ben Rhodes, I'll be honest, here in the top 4. I mean, he hasn't really done much. Obviously, he only has 1 win. The least now top 5s. The second, well, I should say the second highest top 10 is tied with Carson Hocevar, but he hasn't really done much. He's only led 112 laps. He hasn't really done much, I'll be honest, this whole season. So it'd be very, very disappointing, in my opinion, if Ben Rhodes does win the championship. Not because I hate Ben Rhodes. I don't hate Ben Rhodes, but just because of his numbers and his performance throughout the season, it's not really championship worthy numbers, we'll say. But let's now have a look now at the Xfinity Series standings. A bit different here for the Xfinity Series because for some reason the standings on the actual NASCAR website is a bit dumb because it doesn't actually show Sam Mayer is already locked in. He shows him in 4th place. Yes, on points, but if we're talking about naturally in the playoffs, Sam Mayer is basically in the top 4. He is now clinched his spot into Phoenix. John Nemechek has a very comfortable points cushion. He's only plus 44. Cole Custer and Austin Hill, though, they're only plus 3 above Justin Allgaier, who's 3 points back. Then Sammy Smith, Chandler Smith, and Sheldon Creed, all of them are in a must-win situation now. Sammy Smith is minus 49, Chandler Smith minus 54, and Sheldon Creed minus 65. I'm not really too sure. I think Justin Allgaier will probably be in the top 4. But the issue is that I don't know who's out. I generally don't know. If I was to say maybe Austin Hill, but at the same time, whole cusp. I mean, both have been very, very similar, I'll be honest, at the end of the season. So I generally don't know. But for Sammy Smith, Chandler Smith, and Sheldon Creed, they basically need a freaking miracle to at least win. I mean, last time we were at Phoenix, guess who won? Sammy Smith. So, I mean, Sammy Smith has a pretty decent chance of, winning maybe the championship, even if that ever happens for some reason. I highly doubt it, though. But he's been very, very respectful. I think he's been very good this season, including actually both Smiths, I should say, both Chandler and Sammy. Both of them have been very, very good. But I'm not really too sure. I don't really have any faith on the two Smiths and Creed. I just don't have any faith in them. I think All Guy has a very good chance of making it to the top 4. I just don't know who's out. I think Jonathan Nemechek is very comfortably in. I think if he gets, I don't know, 7 playoff points maybe in the stage, I think he'll be locked in either way. But I'm not really too sure. So let's now have a look now at the Cup Series standings. So this is what the playoff standings now looks like for the Cup Series. Christopher Bell and Kyle Larson, both of them have already locked themselves into the playoffs. I should say into round of 4. William Byron plus 30. He's practically safe. And then Ryan Blaney, who has now pointed his way into the playoffs after his disqualification being rescinded in Las Vegas. He's now plus 10 above the cut line. So Tyler Reddick minus 10, Barnes Truex Jr., Anthony Hamlin, both of them minus 17, and Chris Buescher minus 43. So Buescher must win situation. Hamlin, Truex, and Reddick, the 3 Toyota drivers, they can point their way in Martinsville. So it just mainly depends on what happens to Blaney. I think Byron should be okay. If he's not, then I think if he retires very early on, I think he will be in trouble. But I think as of right now, he should be okay. It just hopefully depends on what happens in Martinsville. Because honestly, anything can happen in Martinsville. So we'll see. We'll see, really. Someone's probably going to get dumped. Someone's going to be fighting someone. Not really too sure. I expect maybe some fights or obviously at least some tears. But just have to wait and see about what really happens. So basically, just all in all, Bush is in a must-win situation. Hamlin, Truex, and Reddick, that could point their way in. Blaney is still sweating. Plus stands on a lot, and Byron should be okay. He has a very, very comfortable points cushion, but he should be okay. But I guess we just have to wait and find out. But just a reminder that next week's schedule race is Martinsville for only the Cup and Xfinity Series, not the Truck Series, as their Final Four has already been announced. So I would like you now to like, comment, and subscribe. It would really help me. Especially on this channel, in my motorsports channel, would be great. And I will see you guys in the next video. Take care. Goodbye.